in 1970, where he spent his senior year at high school. John was a vital member of the football team, anchoring the offensive line. John garnered interest in scholarships offered from several Division I college programs. His love of his new hometown, Mount Shasta, was stronger than his desire to play football, and he decided to stay and work in the local lumber mills throughout the 70s and 80s. In 82, John met Diane, and they eloped in 83. Diane brought along 3 children, which John raised as if they were his own. Raising 3 kids was a true testament to John's character as a kind of humble, hardworking, and respectful man. John and Diane moved to Reading in 1986 to pursue a new job opportunity working for Stan Beach Logging, and later working for Sierra Pacific Industries in Anderson as the crane operator. In 1996, John and Diane started the Mail Biz Airone Sailor franchise throughout Reading. So I have procrastinated the last month trying to put into words and be able to express to you what John was to me and us as a family. There's not enough time or words to give Big John the sliver of gratitude he deserves. But what I have come to realize is when John entered our lives, he was our missing link. We as a family were broken. I was only 3 or 4 years old, and I didn't know what we were. John was our gift, sent from the big guy to be our big guy here on earth. Speaking of the big guy, the first time I remember meeting John, he was the big guy with the tiger on his shirt. I think that was like the Tigra or whatever. Just a regular. Yeah. So once I learned his name, it was Big John. From there on out, from that day, I met the guy with the tiger on his shirt. He was all in. Looking back now, as a dad, being a dad is one thing, but a stepdad, I mean, I get it. My mom is a beautiful woman, but to take on 3 kids that are not your own, if that's not a testament to who he is, down to the core, I don't know what is. John raised us as his own, and I am who I am because of him. John and I were best friends from the jump. He took me everywhere. I grew up in the right seat to anything he was doing, whether it was hunting, fishing, or cutting wood. I was up, blanket in hand, and ready for whatever adventure awaits. We would first hit the Sports and Spirits on West Lake Street for some old-fashioned donuts or the white powdered ones with the raspberry filling. I remember getting to cut firewood with him, and if I was lucky, I got to stand between his legs and pull the trigger on the chainsaw. Then, like clockwork, after a good morning's worth of work, I would crawl up in Sparky, his old gray International, and I would stretch out on the bench seat with my blanket and with my head on his leg as my pillow, as I fell asleep. John and I had many adventures together, mostly anything outdoors, and an occasional trip to the roulette wheel when I was only 19 for my brother's graduation. Will was graduating from UNR, and we had some time to burn, so we could have stayed in the room, but why not give my brother's fake ID a run? It worked at the liquor barn in Reading. I'm sure we could pull one over on the casino, and we did. We must have played for hours. I pretended to be 21, had a couple cocktails, made a few bucks. We had a crowd around us. We were hitting numbers left and right. It got to the point, as we were picking numbers, the table was following suit. It was our inside joke, and we played, and we won in memory that would last a lifetime. Early last year, John and I were talking about buck camp. It was such a rite of passage to get to go to buck camp. Buck camp was a tradition that John and the Holy Boys started many, many years ago. This tradition now lives on in my family. My daughter, Charlie, may or may not have been the first girl to ever get to go to camp. Proud dad shout out. But it's pretty cool to see all the kids that get to go from not only my family, got to join the tradition that started with a tight group of men called the Holy Boys. I got to experience 33 years of buck camp with John, and I'm so incredibly thankful for those years. One of my fondest memories of the Holy Boys, after every hunting season, we would head to the warehouse. This is where the meat had been hanging for the last month. All the families would get together and cut and package meat for hours. The cool thing about it, at the end of the night, all the meat would be divided amongst the families. It didn't matter if you killed the deer or not. The Holy Boys looked out for each other. And I soon came to realize I was part of a giant family, and John had been our ticket in. I had all these new friends, and I still have till today. While the men were cutting, the kids were climbing on stacks and stacks of beer cases and playing football. Oh, did I mention the warehouse was an Olympia beer distributor? Needless to say, the men drank a lot of beer while they prepared and packaged meat, and the ladies drank wine. Good times. There are many other stories that I have with Big John, and I could go on and on. But I'll leave you with this. Some of my best times I've had with him was on a tailgate. I got it. Here we go. It was on a tailgate. On a tailgate somewhere. Sounds like a movie title, coming to you from a tailgate somewhere in the world. So for those of you that don't know, Big John packed an ice chest every day. Most days, we would find a diet soda, maybe a Gatorade for the kids. But if we were going somewhere, he would pack an ice chest for lunch. Nothing was made, it was just all the fixings. But to stop in the middle of the day and break bread from the middle of the woods to the ski park to just outside the gym at our games, the tailgate lunch was always my happy place. His life lesson to me was it never hurts to give someone a smile, and his smile was infectious. John had the biggest heart, and I want you all to know that even 3 lines, and I get this. 3 lines, here we go. John had the biggest heart, and I wanted you all to know that even though he's not here, he will forever live in our hearts. We all get to take him with us and spread his smile throughout the world, and I will always pack a nice chest in memory of him.